Mario Kart DS, the game that introduced Retro Tracks and online play to the Mario Kart series. This is quite a fun video game because it has some really fun modes, but the most important part is all the fun racetracks to play on. Today, I'm counting down my top 10 favorite Mario Kart DS tracks, 5 Nitro and 5 Retro. But first, we have to go over the rules. I judge tracks based on how fun, hard, thrilling, etc. they are. Also, since racing and battling are two different things when it comes to Mario Kart, I won't be counting any battle courses, and this is only my opinion and no one else's. That's it for the rules, so let's go! Kicking off the Nitro list is Mario Circuit from the Star Cup. For obstacles, there are some Goombas, both regular and fire-breathing piranha plants, a narrow dirt road, a few sharp turns, and that's pretty much it. However, while these obstacles don't sound very threatening, they actually are. This Mario Circuit is, in my opinion, the hardest of any Mario Kart game, hence why it's in the Star Cup instead of the usual Flower Cup. Like with Mario Circuit from Double Dash, I don't really know why I like this track so much. It could be because of how hard it is, at least compared to other Mario Circuits, considering how much I like a good challenge, but apart from that, I have no idea. I just really like it for some reason. But no matter what that reason is, or if it even exists, Mario Circuit is my 5th favorite Nitro track. Fourth place goes to Wario Stadium from the Special Cup. This track is similar to Waluigi Stadium from Double Dash. Racers race on a dirt bike track with several sharp turns, ramps, jumps, and dash panels. There are also some fire wheels, making racers have to time their jumps well to avoid them. Sorry, that's all. This track is really fun, for pretty much the same reasons as Waluigi Stadium. I love racing on dirt bike tracks. I'll also say that this Wario Stadium is much better than the N64 one, since that one's just a dull and really long track with no real obstacles. And don't even get me started on the wallpaper. It's too bad they used the idea for this track before Bikes and Tricks came out, but thankfully, Mario Kart 8 makes up for that. Let's save that for a later video though. Wario Stadium, for all of said reasons, easily earns 4th place. Sorry, 2 Special Cup tracks in a row. Coming in at 3rd place is Peach Gardens. This is a rather long track around the backyard of Peach's castle, with several obstacles. These include sharp turns, thick grass and walls that slow racers down, chain chomps, San chains, a narrow dirt road, and Monty moles. Holy crap, that's a lot. I.e., this track is very difficult, and quite fitting for the Special Cup. Yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why I like it so much, because it provides a good challenge. Also, the scenery and music are very beautiful, and I admire the concept of racing in the backyard of Peach's castle. That's all there is to why I like this track. It's both challenging and serene, which is quite a rare combination, at least in Mario Kart. If you ask me, that's more than enough for Peach Gardens to earn 3rd place. I wish it were also enough to earn me a time-killing epilogue. Running up is Waluigi Pinball from the Flower Cup. I'm sure most of you saw this one coming. Racers race inside a huge pinball machine, with the main obstacles being, fittingly, pinballs and bumpers. Overall, I'd say this course really isn't that challenging, but you know what it is? Epic AF. The music, the scenery, the sound effects, the obstacles, the ramps, the jumps, the dash panel placements, and especially that huge launch at the beginning, are all very awesome and, again, epic. They all come together to make an extremely extreme Mario Kart racetrack. Sometimes, that's all it takes for a track to be likable, regardless of how challenging it is. Or isn't. If it's epic enough, it's very likable. With all the epicness it boasts, Waluigi Pinball is easily my second favorite Mario Kart DS Nitro track. Is it me, or do the Wario Bros have some awesome tracks in the Mario Kart series? Nitro honorable mentions. 10th place is Rainbow Road from the Special Cup. This is, in my opinion, one of the easier Rainbow Roads in the Mario Kart series. So why do you like it then? I like it because it is, nonetheless, quite challenging, which is something I'm always happy to see in a Mario Kart racetrack. And a few side notes, the music is really nice, and those 2 spirals are really fun to drive on. 9th place is Bowser Castle from the Special Cup. Like with Rainbow Road, I find this Bowser's Castle to be one of the easier ones in the series. But despite that, it is still fun and challenging to race on, since there are plenty of obstacles like thwomps, sharp turns, the rolling bridge, the moving ground, and especially lava. 8th place is Delfino Square from the Flower Cup. I assume this track takes place somewhere on Isle Delfino, and doesn't really have any obstacles. Ergo, it's on the easy side, but that's just it. It's just a nice and simple track with great scenery and music. Also, I love Super Mario Sunshine, so I also love anything based off that game. 7th place is Luigi's Mansion from the Mushroom Cup. This one takes place both inside and in the courtyard of, hence the name, Luigi's Mansion, with a few obstacles including walking trees, mud that lessens traction, and a few sharp turns. This track is quite easy, but nonetheless is just plain fun to race on, and the music and scenery are pretty epic also. Last but not least, 6th place is Tick Tock Clock from the Star Cup. This one is based on the level from Super Mario 64 with the same name, and takes place inside of a huge clock. There are several clock-inspired obstacles, and is therefore more on the challenging side. I like it because of, again, the difficulty, along with the music, and the fact that it was inspired by Mario 64. Number 1 is none other than Airship Fortress from the Star Cup. This track takes place in a huge fortress in the sky, as well as on an airship. It has several obstacles, including bullet bills, rocky wrenches, crates, and rocket engines. There are a lot of each of these obstacles, and therefore, this track is quite a challenging one. But apart from that, it's similar to Waluigi Pinball in that it's extremely epic. Not only is it a good challenge, but it also has awesome scenery and music, and the concept of racing on an airship is very clever, innovative, and extreme. Again, it also reminds me a lot of the airship boss levels from Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, because it was inspired by those levels. This track has everything: difficulty, excellent scenery and music, an awesomely clever and original concept, and it reminds me of 2 very nostalgic Mario games. And side note, I love the cannon that launches you back to the fortress near the end. In simpler terms, it's just epic as hell. With all this going for it, Airship Fortress is easily my number 1 favorite Mario Kart DS Nitro track of all time. Kicking off the retro list is Frappe Snowland from the Banana Cup, originally from 64. Taking place in a winter wonderland, this track has one main obstacle: snowmen. Yeah, it's just one obstacle, but there's a lot of them scattered throughout the track, and with all the snow on the ground, it can sometimes be hard to avoid them due to lack of traction. And trust me, you want to avoid them, since if you hit one, you'll get knocked back pretty far. That's the only thing that really gives this track any difficulty, and despite that, I'd say it's a bit more on the easy side. But even so, weaving around all the snowmen is pretty fun, and even quite a rush too. It also has nice music. Are you expecting more? Sorry, I don't have any more. All I have left to say is this: Frappe Snowland is fun enough to be my 5th favorite Mario Kart DS retro track. Fourth place goes to Moo Moo Farm from the Shell Cup, originally from 64. This track takes place on a, hence the name, farm, with a bunch of cows everywhere in the background. The only obstacles it has are some Monty Moles and the bridge near the end, which you could bump into if you aren't careful. Yeah, hence why it's in the Shell Cup. This is a really simple and easy track, but truth be told, that's just it. It's a nice and simple race. Some tracks are just fun when they're nice and simple. It also has some good music, and even some nostalgic value to me. I wish I could say more about this track, but I just can't. Short, sweet, and to the point, Moo Moo Farm earns 4th place. Really wishing I could earn a time-killing epilogue. Sorry, 3 N64 tracks in a row. Coming in at 3rd place is Banshee Boardwalk from the Lightning Cup. This track takes place on a, who would have guessed, boardwalk that leads into an abandoned building. Since it's a boardwalk, there's water under it, and some parts of the boardwalk don't have guardrails, or any sort of boundary, for that matter, meaning that if you aren't careful, you could fall in the water. That doesn't sound too hard. Maybe not, but the road is pretty narrow, so it actually can be really hard to stay on course. In addition to that obstacle, there are also some swoopers that'll fly your way once you're in the building. This is quite a challenging track, hence why it's in the Lightning Cup. It also has a spooky vibe and music, which I can't help but love. With all that, Banshee Boardwalk is easily 3rd place. I wonder what Banshee this track is named after. Running up is Mushroom Bridge from the Leaf Cup, originally from Double Dash. Despite its name, only a small part of this track actually takes place on a bridge. Most of it takes place on a road, which several other cars, this track's main obstacle, are also driving on. In an infinite loop? This doesn't make any sense because they have nowhere to go. Maybe they just like being trolls. Sorry, that's all there is for obstacles. To be honest, I think this track is too easy for the Leaf Cup, and it's even easier than the original GameCube version, since the Bob-omb and Wiggler cars were taken out. But I still like it a lot because of the nice music remix, which I think is slightly better than the original, and like Moo Moo Farm, it's just nice and simple, which is nice to see in certain Mario Kart tracks. I will say it sucks that you can't drive on the edge of the bridge anymore, but it's not that big a deal. Mushroom Bridge bridges the gap to 2nd place. Retro honorable mentions. 10th place is Luigi Circuit from the Shell Cup, originally from Double Dash. This one is a loop without a median, meaning racers can more easily hit any racer they want as opposed to only ones near them. Apart from that, it only has one obstacle, which is a chain jump. This track is just nice and simple, as well as unique, since no other loop tracks lack a median. 9th place is Koopa Beach 2 from the Leaf Cup, originally from Super. This one takes place on, a beach, with grass, flailing cheap-cheeps, and steep water segments which players can fall into, serving as obstacles. This track is quite difficult, and honestly, that's the only reason I like it. It provides a good challenge. Oh, and the music is also very nice. FYI, you're listening to it right now. 8th place is Yoshi Circuit from the Lightning Cup, originally from Double Dash. This one takes place on a road shaped almost exactly like Yoshi, and the only real obstacles it has are a few piranha plants. Although I think this track is too easy for the Lightning Cup, I like it because it's nice and simple, and that shortcut at the beginning is pretty fun. 7th place is Choco Mountain from the Leaf Cup, originally from 64. This one takes place on a, I assume, chocolatey mountain, and has quite a few obstacles, like sharp turns and boulders that could knock you into water. This track is only somewhat challenging, but I just find it fun to race on. I don't really know why, I just do. Music's pretty good too. Last but not least, 6th place is Bowser Castle 2 from the Banana Cup, originally from Super Circuit. This one takes place in, of course, Bowser's Castle, or should I say, one of his castles, with quite a few obstacles like thwomps, lava, and sharp turns. It's not terribly challenging, but I just find it fun because of all the jumps and dash panels. It's also fun to drive around and avoid the thwomps. Number 1 is none other than Sky Garden from the Lightning Cup, originally from Super Circuit. This track takes place in, a huge garden in the sky, with several beanstalks everywhere. If being in the Lightning Cup wasn't a dead giveaway, this track is quite challenging, as there are absolutely no boundaries along the edge, meaning if you aren't careful, you could fall off. It's also kind of easy to go off course, since the road is narrow in some places, and there are quite a few sharp turns, the only real obstacle. So yes, the main reason why I love this track is because it's a good challenge, but that's not all. The music is very nice, and I admire the concept of racing in the sky. Also, side note, I get a real kick out of that shortcut at the beginning, which you can pull off with a mushroom. This may not be a lot overall, but look at it this way. This track is too awesome for words, but I can say these words. Sky Garden is easily my #1 favorite Mario Kart DS retro track of all time. You said it's too awesome for words, and you're still saying words. If you don't stop butting in, I'm gonna give you Logorrhea. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite Mario Kart DS tracks of all time. For more videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, please check out my social media. All links are in the description. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Mikoro Glyscore 472, out.